Russian. Come on in, girl. Y'all let me know when y'all ready.
When you ready?
We ready?
Yes.
All right, so good morning. I'm Mayor Waits, and I'm here today. I want to basically say to the family that we've got prayers that go out to you, but I just want to assure the city that everything is intact at this moment, and so I don't have a whole lot of information, but I'm going to turn it over to my chief to give you the information that you need. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief Dunn.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. Any questions?
Tell us what happened, Chief.
Oh, yes, okay. We responded to shots fired. I say right at a little after 10 o'clock this morning. We actually heard the shots from the police station. We had a quick response. We were able to detain one suspect fleeing the scene, and we did have one person that was injured.
Go ahead.
I know summer school was in. About how many kids are y'all able to tell us were in the school? Kids, staff were in there at the time of that shooting?
About 30.
About 30.
We're told this is possibly targeted, tit for tat situation. What can you tell us about that?
It's just all that's still under investigation. That's a possibility, but that's all. We can't speculate at this
Is
time.
this related to the shooting that happened 48 hours ago?
I would hate to speculate, sir.
You told us earlier this week there would be an SRO on campus during football practice from that shooting. Was there one on campus at the time?
Yeah, not at the time of this shooting. My SRO comes out at 4:30 in the morning for football practice.
How many shots were fired?
I'm not sure exactly, but between 7 and 10.
Moving forward, will there be officers on campus this summer?
Yes, ma'am.
About how many can you tell us?
I would say whatever the security feel as though they need to make sure the kids are safe.
Did this actually take place on campus grounds?
Well, the suspects from the video that we were able to obtain did not enter the school grounds. The victim was walking off campus.
The person that was detained, what charges are they looking at?
At this time, we haven't decided yet at this time.
And so just to clarify points, one was taken to the hospital, you've apprehended one person. Is there another suspect you're looking for?
We don't have the exact number of suspects it could be at this time, but we know that it was more than one.
What's your message to the community given that there have been a couple of shootings in this area the past couple of days?
Yes, our message would be that we're going to do everything in our power to keep the kids and this community as safe as possible in Baker.
Are you able to give us the age of the victim?
Not at this time, ma'am.
Do you have a grade?
Ma'am?
If not an age, a grade.
I didn't hear.
What grade was the victim in?
Oh, I don't have that information at this
Do you
time.
know if he was a student at the school and leaving campus, or was he just a kid walking?
He was a student leaving campus.
What about the age of the person you'll have detained?
We don't have that information at this time.
Do you know if the student was attending summer school today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an idea of what this is like stemming from? What caused this?
Not at this, no, ma'am. Not at this time.
Does Whitehead and McVeigh have anything to do with this or not?
Yes, sir, it does.
Is that where y'all apprehended the suspect?
Yes, sir.
As chief, how upsetting is it for you to hear children at risk in our community?
Yeah, it's very upsetting, sir. Very, very upsetting.
So you said the SRO comes at 4:30 early for the practice. What time do they typically leave?
Well, the SRO normally leaves around the time when all of the kids leave. But at that time, none was on the campus.
And do you know why?
No, ma'am.
Given that the student was walking off campus, this happened off campus, sounds like it was targeted. Is there anything as far as school policy-wise that could change safety-wise that maybe could prevent this kind of situation in the future?
Well, I would think that we will reevaluate all policies to see if there's something we can do to make it more safe.
We were talking earlier, Chief, this isn't what we used to see in Baker. What's going on this summer? What's changed?
I wouldn't say that was a big change because the information that we're receiving All of these suspects and the victims are known to us and known to each other.
So is school set to resume tomorrow with any message to the parents?
Well, I would leave that up to the superintendent, but I can tell you this much. We will have more than one officer on the campus to make sure the entire perimeter is safe for all the kids if there is school tomorrow.
Outside of like officers on the campus, what other preventative measures are y'all gonna like put in place?
Ma'am, for right now, everything is still in the air.
Can we hear from Felix?
Yes.
Sure.
Good morning, everyone. Let me first, as the mayor did, extend my heartfelt prayers to the young person who was injured. We obviously care very deeply for our students, and whenever someone's hurt on one of our campuses, it is extremely disturbing. Having said that, this is extremely unfortunate. It's disappointing on a number of levels. We want to ensure that our students, our faculty, our staff are always safe at all times. We were having summer school. We've had a really good year, and it's certainly tarnished because of the events of today and as a result of the shooting. We want to make sure that our kids are safe at all times. Having said that, we are going to resume school virtually and not return in person. We went through this exercise on Monday and thought that perhaps this had been resolved, and we'll continue to work with the local authorities and parish and state authorities as they continue to inform us as to how best to keep our school safe. We are located, for those of you who may not be familiar with Baker High School, we're literally located across the street from the police department. So this really should be a very safe environment. We have a very close relationship with the Baker Police Department. We talk regularly. I think they're working very hard, and we will continue to cooperate with them to support and protect our families.
So you said it almost sounds like you think this is a continuation of what happened Monday. Do you have any of it? Where does it lead you to believe that?
Yeah, well, there was an incident on Monday. Today is Wednesday. I've got to believe, just because of timing, that there may be a connection. I don't know all the facts or the details, and I will defer to the chief and his officers who are investigating that. But if nothing else, because of timing. We went through a similar exercise on Monday, and we returned to school after a suspect had been apprehended, and we returned without incident on yesterday, and then there was an incident today. As we understand it, that these are activities that are happening off campus that we don't have any control over, but unfortunately they're spilling onto our campus, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure our students, our faculty and staff remain safe.
So you talked about going into virtual learning. Is there any maybe timeline for when the students might come back to campus?
No, we're gonna continue to talk to the authorities who are in charge. We're going to be responsible for educating kids. We're going to leave it to the authorities to keep us safe. When they advise us that it's okay to return, we're going to take that information into consideration and make a decision at that time. But in the meantime, we're going to focus on what we're hired to do, and that is to protect and educate children to the best of our ability with the support of the community and our staff. Ask that those who are out there and that continue to watch us and support us to do so. But we're going to try to follow the chain of command, but at the end of the day, we're going to do our absolute best to keep our students safe.
And what would you say to families who might be worried to send their kids to school right now?
Yeah, the parents should be worried to send their kids to school right now. I would be worried about sending my kids to school right now. This has happened now twice, and we returned to school again without incident on yesterday, but then there was an incident today. I think there is reason to be worried. Having said that, I think these gentlemen standing to my left and right and behind me are going to do everything that they can to ensure that this doesn't happen, I guess to the best of their ability anyway.
Where were the students in the school in relation to where the shooting happened?
So the students were in the school building. The shooting took place toward the back of the school where the students were not, the students were in the building. It's my understanding that the shooting.
They were in the main building?
They were in the main building, and the shooting took place toward a field away from the campus, but still on campus. It's my understanding that the shots were fired from off campus onto our campus. So again, the students were in the building along with faculty and staff.
When it comes to athletics, will there still be practices on campus right now?
We suspended all practices until further notice, and as well as any other activities.
You said 30 people, is that including students? That was just faculty that's on?
Yeah, we're having summer school. So we began summer school last week, and students are on campus learning. We also have our football team and basketball team and other sports and cheerleaders who are doing what kids do. They're trying to enjoy their summer and participate in activities. And it's extremely disheartening and disappointing when something like this happens. And I know there are families out there and parents who are worried. I would be worried, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I would be worried. We're doing what we can, and I would say that they should stay in close contact, but I don't want to mince words that this is deeply troubling.
What would you suggest the kids that are all shaken up after this? Because I'm sure they are, considering they were in there.
Yeah, I would say not only to the kids and families that they continue to support each other, that it's important that families continue to support families and that we continue to support each other. This incredible community that I think is shaken now. I would be shaken by this because Baker is a historic, warm community, and right now it is deeply troubled by these incidents. And the fact that we have our children at risk is a problem, and we're hopeful that together we'll work to solve those problems.
Obviously, this just speaks to a rise in youth violence. What kind of a disruption has that been for teachers?
Well, in the question with regard to youth violence, I think for teachers, not only in Baker, but all across the city and the state and the country, this is a problem. It's happening here in Baker, but the problem is that this is happening all too often. It happens everywhere and constantly, and this isn't a Baker problem. This is an epidemic across the state and country. For my teachers, I worry about them. It's difficult to come to school when your job is to teach children, but what you have to be concerned about is your own personal and public safety. That is a problem. It is a problem that while everyone will be focused today and the next few days on Baker, it is a bigger problem. So for us at Helix, when our job is to educate kids with the support of our board, the Baker School Board, who works really hard, and it's their job likewise to ensure that children are educated. But when teachers all across the city, state, and country have to face gun violence on a regular basis, that is deeply troubling. And there is no nice way to say that.
The answer to the question about Baker, let me get that. So you asked the question about Baker. Well, he stated it, just facts. It's going on everywhere. But we always have looked out for safety. We always work on safety, coordinations and things that we want to do, not only to keep the students safe, but to keep the teachers safe and to keep the people of the city safe. But it is getting a lot harder across the country and in this area here to stay abreast of it, to stay ahead of it. But we're working hard. So I want to let the citizens of Baker know now that I can assure you that the police is doing everything that they can. We're working with them to make sure we have a great relationship with the school system to make sure that we're able to do it. But sometimes things happen. And so, yeah, it happens, and unfortunately, for that young man, and we pray that everything works out for him and his family, and we know that there is trauma. But from this point, leadership jumps in. We have to move forward to make sure that we continue to keep it safe, to continue so we can move forward with this, and as a city, and we're going to do that. We're going to definitely do that. But that is help from everybody. You don't point fingers when things happen like this. You come together, you gather around each other, and you move forward as one unit. You send a message that we're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to just close our eyes and it's going to go away. We're going to move forward to try to deflect it, so the kids can get the education they need, that the people in the city can feel safe. So don't be afraid. Let's keep moving forward, but let's wrap our arms around each other and move forward and do it together.
And just to quickly reiterate what Mayor Waits just said, to the residents of Baker in this community, Baker is one of consistently safest cities in Louisiana. Now, today is an isolated situation, of course, and of course we had a situation yesterday as well, but we have to make sure, like Mayor Waits said, we stay united in this situation. Everybody who stand behind me to my left and right, I know for a fact dedicate every day of their life, of their time, and of their jobs to ensure that every student, every resident, young person, old person is safe in this community. Now, one of the things we need to address when we're talking about youth crime in our area, we can put all the resources in Baker, we can put all the resources in the parish, but a lot of these conversations starts at home. And so all the parents that's out there, please know what your child is doing on a daily basis. We are seeing crime across this parish at every corner of this parish, not just in Baker, but every part of East Baton Rouge Parish. And so from a Metro Council standpoint, for the city of Baker standpoint, we have to work collectively to address the root issues of why crime is going on. And so to the parents at home, this is not a conversation to divide Baker. This is not a conversation to put a blanket over Baker. This is a conversation for us to come together and proactively address why is crime happening in our community. If our kids feel unsafe going to school, to summer school, that means we have an at-home problem. That's not a Baker High School problem. That's not a City of Baker problem. That's not a Helix Community Schools problem. That's an at-home problem. And so we have to make sure we're starting having those tough conversations in our households to ensure that as young people, during the summertime, you need to be doing something productive. There are summer camp programs. There are tutoring programs. There are sports programs for every single child to be a part of. And so to the families at home today, this is a time for us to come together as a City of Baker, not to point fingers at whose fault is it, but most importantly, we need to ask a question as a City of Baker. What are we doing to assist each other to make Baker consistently one of the safest cities in America? And I'm going to keep pushing that point. Baker is one of the safest cities in Louisiana, but just like any safe city, isolated incidents happen. And so we need to make sure as a community here in the City of Baker, we are wrapping our arms around our school leaders, our mayor, our police chief who do a dangerous job on a daily basis. And it's a fluid situation. But most importantly, it's not about the news headline today, but what we're going to do tomorrow as a City of Baker to ensure any child who walks the halls in City of Baker, Louisiana, feels safe. And so my charge is out there to every person who thinks about the City of Baker. Baker is not a dangerous place. But every city, every state in the United States is facing this epidemic, like Mr. Castile said. And so we have to make sure we're continuously addressing the root cause issues as a community, because we can't point fingers at anybody up here, but we have to make sure as a community, are we doing what it takes to ensure our children are safe on a daily basis? Thank you.
Facts.
Councilman, I think, just the messaging here kind of is a little bit all over the place. I mean, these next steps you're talking about, I think everyone here in the community wants to get behind that.
Correct.
But we also have heard, look, we're closing down school, we're closing down practices, we're going online. We should be worried. That's what I heard from Felix. I guess anyone wants to feel this question: is the threat of violence based on this incident still out there in the community today?
Those are procedures. Those are the correct procedures, and that gives the investigation time to go and for a chief to get more facts. Okay, he didn't say it was going to be. He didn't set a time. Right now, that time could change. It is a fluid situation, and so those are the things that you do, just to get a hold on it, to see where you are. They let the families come together. That's the right procedures to go, and then you go to the next steps. And that's how it is all the time. Everybody does the same thing. That's how you got to do it. So the message is really, really clear. You have to follow that. That gives him enough time, give chiefs enough time to find out what we need to do to get another plan in place to figure out how we can continue to protect them. We don't know what's going on at this point. This is early. Wait 24 to 48 hours and see how it looks then. And then these people in the education system can make a different decision. But for us at the city, we move forward to find out where this is going, how we can stop it, or how we can slow it down. But we don't have enough information at this point right now to say anything else. So I think that's a good point that he made. That's the best procedure we can follow.
procedures aside, should people at home still be worried about a threat of violence?
You should always be worried about it. You should always be, just looking around. You always should do that. We do that anyway. We do that whether we have anything happening anyway. We live in a world where it's a violent world. And so we should do that. When you wake up in the morning and you send your kids to school, you make sure that they're right. When I drop my grandbaby off at school, at the camp, they come out, we sign for it, we make sure. We do that anyway. That's what we do. It's nothing different than what we do. But fear is not what we're talking about. You're talking about, we're not telling you to be to be afraid. We're telling you to be watchful, like we always should be.
Thank you.
You're
I have
welcome.
a question for the chief.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the plan that was in place was that an officer, is what you told us yesterday, an officer was going to be on campus yesterday. And now
Yes, ma'am.
today, you're saying they weren't there at the time of the shooting. What was that timeline of the times that they were there? When did they leave? How long were they supposed to be there?
I know the officer comes out, like I say, we adjusted his hours from coming in when the kids come for school to coming in at 4:30 when they began football practice, to make sure everything is safe for all the kids doing football practice. The football players left today to go to do some more training at another school. So when they left, that officer left with them.
So was there strictly for football practice?
Ma'am?
He was there strictly to monitor the football?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He was there for the entire school.
Then could this have been preventable if he was there?
At the location where this was is a possibility, man. Like I'm gonna go with the mayor said, it's all fluid right now. We're still in the very beginning stages of the investigation.
So what time did he leave, and just why did it seem like one officer would be enough versus having more?
Well, I would say that the person that's over security, if they needed more officers, of course we would have furnished more officers. But at the time, that person felt as though that was enough security. So I'm gonna go with the person that's on campus as opposed to me outside of campus.
And what time did they leave?
I have no clue, ma'am.
I have something I want to say to parents. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's gathered here. And what I would like to say to parents is, parents, be mindful, be aware. When I was raising children, I was all up in my children's lives, every ounce of it. And while, as the mayor said, let's not be fearful, because we are all here to make sure that we are all taking every safety precaution there is to keep our children safe. But I'm pressing parents to be mindful of where your children are and to be aware. I'm Joyce Burgess. I serve on the City of Baker School Board, and we are blessed to have our partnership with the Helix community. So we are here making sure that your children can stay safe. And this is heartbreaking, very much so. I pray for this young man's family, that God will bring him through, and that this family will know that someone is praying for them. Thank you.
Can I wrap up and say that we're going to continue to support this community. From a Helix perspective, we came here and knew that there were challenges, but also knew that this was a wonderful community, and we're going to continue to support the families, the community as a whole as best we can. Ms. Burgess made a reference to, and so did Councilman Kinney, about knowing where your children are. And the reason they're saying that is because we've got young people who are involved in these activities, in these very violent activities. So there is a responsibility for us to all look out for our children, know where they are, because the crimes that are happening and the violence that's being perpetrated is happening at an age where it should be an age of innocence, and it is not that. It has been an age of violence, and that should not happen. Again, we're going to continue to support this community. We are fortunate to have this partnership, but having said that, it's important that we continue to look out for families and make sure that they're safe. And I thank the chief and the mayor and their teams and Councilman Kinney for their hard work. but we've got a lot more work to do. The question that came up before, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've got work to do. We didn't fire the shots. We didn't commit the crimes. We didn't do those things. They're happening off campus and coming onto our campus. That is too often the story around the city, state, and country, that we try to protect our schools from violence. We'll continue to do that and continue to keep you informed as best as possible.
Okay, you guys, so we need to let Chief get back to work so we can get this done. We want to thank you for coming out. If you want to talk, afterwards or what you got going on, I'll be here. We'll be here to talk separately. We appreciate you coming out. Just make sure that when we put the story out, that we put out what we're saying here. Because if you want to help us put that story out, that we're going to be here. We're going to stand here. We're not going to give up, and we're not going anywhere. We are Baker. We are strong, and we're going to keep moving forward. Okay. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am.